any of you have any questions while I'm presenting, feel free to type them into the question box, and I'll get to them, and I'll probably read the question aloud and go ahead and answer it if it's an appropriate question. So give us just another minute. We'll be ready to go. So we're probably going to go about maybe 20 or 25 minutes, depending if there are questions or anything else that might come up. All right. All right, and as you'll see over time, I'm really kind of a stickler for the punctuation. So it's right at the bottom of the hour. Let's get started. So here's what I want to do today. First of all, I want to welcome everybody for being here. I want to go through an introduction and make some announcements about our business and some of the things that we have coming up, and then we'll get right into the subject matter, which is this: how to use this niche marketing with your free offer to grow your estate planning law practice. So all of you know me. I'm Paul Rabelais. I'm getting to know all of you. Probably everybody on the webinar has talked to myself, has talked to Carol James, who is also here, a participant on the webinar, chiming in. We may or may not hear from her. So both of us are just really, really excited about what we're doing. It's unique, it's different. We have so much to share, and really excited about the opportunity of working with the different attorneys and really helping them kind of dig in the trenches and really work hard and work fast to grow their estate planning practice and get you where you really have a good practice, a good lifestyle. You're getting the things you want out of it. You're getting the right kind of clients. A lot of those problems and challenges will go by the wayside. So we're excited. We realize there's a lot of work to do. So let's get started. All right. Just a couple of announcements before we dig into the content. What we've done is on the first and third Friday of every month, we're going to be presenting a webinar. So here's the events page, and you can check on the parestateplanning.com website and go to the events page and see when and the subject matter of the particular webinar. All the other webinars are going to be at the same time, first and third Friday of every month, 2 p.m. Central Time. This one, because I wanted to get started, I had a conflict at that time. I moved it back to 4:30 Central Time, but that was just a one-time thing. So as you'll see on our events page, 2 weeks from now, we'll talk about building the format for your free offer. Format is whether you use a written report or a video or an audio or a recorded webinar or an ebook or a book, and how to use those different formats. So that's what we'll be talking about 2 weeks from now. First week of December, 6 critical elements. As you develop your free offer, it has to have those 6 critical elements. What's the biggest problem your potential clients face? What are the consequences of not solving that problem? What are their other options? What's your solution? What's the results from that they'll recognize by taking advantage of your solution? And then what's the call to offer? So we'll dig into each of those. Next, we'll go into creating blog content. We'll go into using video. Then we roll into the new year with drip marketing, book authoring, webinar presentations, and then seminar presentations. And it goes from there. Many, many more topics. Really excited. One of the things that, we not even on the schedule yet is, I think, one of my strengths, which is, most attorneys tell me, Paul, if I can get them in the room and get them to the table, I'm going to close them. But there's taking that to another level. There's not only do they retain you, but they retain you at really high fees, and they get kind of emotionally involved in solving their problems, so they have no interest in going anywhere else, and they don't care what the financial cost is to solve that problem. So I look forward to sharing a lot of trainings with you on that. Okay, so several, really every, first and third Friday of every month. The other thing that some of you have scheduled, some of you haven't, is that regular stay on track call that you'll have periodically with Carol James. We really want you to get in a groove, and really we'd like it to be the same time every week. It can be 15 minutes, but it gets great to get on a schedule, and every week it's okay. What did we say we were going to do last week? Did we do it? What happened? Great. We got that part knocked out. What do we want to do for next week? So really important to keep this marketing going, because it's so easy for life to get in the way, clients to get in the way, emails to get in the way, document drafting to get in the way. But really important to stay on tracks. So many people who start a marketing endeavor fail because they realize the importance of it, but other urgent stuff gets in the way. So really kind of begging you here to get with Carol. Text or call Carol, 281-923-1677, 281-923-1677. Call now. Sounds like one of those commercials. And go ahead and get that scheduled. So we've got that. A couple of other announcements. One is for those of you who are going to be taking advantage of, we're going to be your marketing department, and there's so many different avenues we'll take. Today is about the niche free offer. There's the website stuff. There's the blogging. There's the book authoring stuff, the drip marketing, the financial advisors, the seminar presentations, the webinar presentations. So many aspects of it. But for those of you who are going to taking advantage of our offer to create an estate planning website for you, whether it's your first one or your second one or your third one, we just wanted to let everybody know out there we've retained someone who's done some really amazing website work, and really anxious to get started and help building out those websites. Here's just a couple of examples of some of the web work that they've done. Nice wedding dress, I suppose, but here you see a cover page where they can enter the site, so that's an option. Here's another one with a cover page, can then enter the site. Here's, really we can do just about anything with the website, so we've got one here. Here's another jewelry, and again, it doesn't matter that our web designer hasn't designed a lot of estate planning websites. We understand the estate planning content. We know what needs to be in there. So when you design what we can do with the content, with what a web designer can do from a design standpoint, it can get really, really powerful. And again, what you're seeing here is a lot of simplicity, a lot of professionalism. So we're real excited about what we've got going on from a website development standpoint. Again, emphasis when we work with your website is the getting found through the quality and quantity of content, and then the capturing of the contact information so that we can drip, really forever those relevant messages that help people make those decisions to purchase your services. Had right here, this is the home page on my personal website. So right smack dab, first thing they see is an offer to get my book. Or they can just, go ahead and they can click on and enter the site. So, can't be any more kind of blatant than that. And so we'll be talking about that in some of our future webinars. So anyway, just want to let you know we've got some new web development stuff going on. One other announcement is if you look at our events page, one of the things that you'll see, here's today's webinar, is something that we put here for November 11th. It's kind of, we haven't said anything about it because we didn't really know how things would develop. And this is very, very last minute. But one thing that we're doing next Friday, in fact, I know we've got one or two of our attorneys coming in town to Baton Rouge, was for whoever comes in, and this is next Friday, November 11th. Whoever comes here, and there's no cost for this, but I'm going to be giving a presentation Thursday night, so the attorneys that are here will be able to see me give that live seminar presentation, see how I engage the audience, see how I how the audience, pays for the services at the end, sees how I tell the stories, make an emotional connection, really kind of professionally ask for the business. So they'll get to see all that. Then all day Friday, we'll be in our office conference room, just a day-long training on all of the aspects of our marketing program and how it works. And we'll really be able to do some customization with the attorneys that are here, because there's only going to be maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that are going to be here. And then for those who even stay Saturday morning, I've got an annual event called the Rabelais Run for Life. It supports organ donation in Louisiana, something I've done for about 6 years running now, and that'll kind of finish things up. So last minute, very last minute, not really expecting anybody to take us up on it because it is so last minute. But if you'd like to participate, and you can get here, late Thursday afternoon to come see my presentation, and then be here all day Friday, 7 or 8 hours of training and customization of marketing programs and learning and lots of good stuff, then feel free to reach out to Carol. Carol's number is all over our website. In fact, there it is on the screen right there, 281-923-1677. So just wanted to mention that, and if you don't make it, it's okay, and if you do make it, it's great. Okay, so, and then the last thing before we get into our topic is I just wanted to make a point. Last couple of days have been really good for, kind of my law practice. I was thinking about 15 minutes ago, just in the last 2 days, since yesterday and today, I've been fortunate to retain 7 new clients. So let me just give you an idea of how, when you implement a marketing program, where do all these clients come from? And a lot of people ask me, Paul, can you track that this marketing activity produced this number of clients, and that this activity produces this client? So, and it's hard because people get exposed to me and my practice through so many different ways that it's the combination of doing a whole bunch of things that really gets the clients in the door. So I made a little list of the 7 clients that I retained between yesterday and today, just to give you an idea of how the marketing works to get those 7 clients in the door. 2 of them were referrals from their financial advisor. And these are financial advisors that we've dripped on, every week. These financial advisors are getting my messages. So it was real easy for those 2 financial advisors to refer clients to me. One, the mom died and her investment account got frozen, so the financial advisor told the son, come see me. He did. That was a probate matter. A second one was a couple with a 13-year-old daughter. They'd never had put any legal affairs in order, so their financial advisor, whose name is Christy, and referred them to me. 2 other of our clients came from these seminar presentations that I gave. I met with a couple this morning. Kind of a funny story. They didn't have any kids, so they left $10,000 to their 2 cats, and they left the rest of what they have to 4 different charities. So nice to be their cat. But and of course we did it all the right way. And then another one that had come to a seminar, just a blended family, husband and wife, each had 1 child of their own, and they wanted to get affairs in order. So another one of the clients that we retained today, we ask everybody, how'd you hear about us? And so their response was, I've watched a number of your videos online, and I've read a number of your blog posts. So it's that quality and quantity of content on the web that generated that client to come see us. Another probate that we started yesterday, I asked them, how did you get my name? They said, well, we knew we needed an estate planning lawyer, and I just have heard your name around, so I called you. So who knows where that came from. And then we had another actual probate matter from a will that I wrote several years ago, and so some of that administration stuff just naturally comes in years later after you set the things up. So it happened to be 3 probate matters and 4 estate planning matters. That's a little out of whack. Normally, if I take in 7 new clients, it might be 7 estate planning matters and no probate, or it might be 6 estate planning matters and 1 probate matter. So maybe 10% of our revenue is the probate stuff. But that, I say all that just because I want to emphasize the point that if you do a lot of different stuff, then you don't have to worry about where your clients are going to come in. You're doing so much that clients come in from all these different sources. So really important to dig in and focus on all these steps of the marketing program and stay according to plan. Okay, we have and I'm going to go to the question box from time to time. What time is your presentation? The presentation that I'm giving Thursday, it's at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, but it's a little over an hour away from here. I have a lot of my business. I'm sitting here in my office in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. By the way, this room, no clients ever go in this room. This is where I kind of have my office, and I do stuff. I have a couple of other conference rooms. So the seminar presentation that I'm giving Thursday night, it's about an hour away. So we have to leave my office in Baton Rouge at about 4 o'clock to drive to get there at about 5:30 for the 6:30 p.m. start of the presentation. So that's what we got there. Good question. Okay. Now, time to get into the niche stuff. The niche part of your pre-offer is just a little piece of the overall marketing program, but the idea is do all these little things really, really well, and it makes a really tremendous difference. Many attorneys resist the niche stuff because they're afraid that by focusing on the niche, you're going to lose other business. But it's the opposite. By having a niche, you're going to stand out amongst all the competition that's saying, I do estate planning, I do wills and trusts, I do revocable trusts. That's kind of the bland, oh, I do estate planning. But when you focus on a niche, and really even better, as I'll explain in a minute, when you have several niche marketing campaigns working, you stand out from the competition and you eliminate lots of potential objections. So, for example, you may focus some marketing niche on avoiding estate tax. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to attract a whole lot of clients that don't have estate tax problems. But the problem is, not the problem, the good thing is they don't know that they don't have estate tax problems. They just know that they don't want to pay any tax or they don't want their kids to pay tax. So by focusing on a niche, how to protect your estate from death taxes or estate taxes, or we would come up with a really clever, attention-grabbing title. And by focusing on that one little estate tax niche, you're actually targeting and attracting a lot of people, even though the estate tax only applies to 0.3% of the people out there. So you really stand out when you focus on these niches. Why do you need a niche? Well, you want to zero in on a particular group of people for a couple of reasons. One, you may get so good at that niche that one niche keeps you busy enough to get you where you want to be. But really, the ideal solution is have a series of niche marketing campaigns. And that way you're standing out and you're touching this person here who has this niche need, this person who has this one, this person who has this one. That's where you want to get, and it just takes some effort to develop. You have to develop your first niche marketing campaign before you can develop your second and your third one. So that niche marketing, it gets their initial attention. It's like, wow, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this marketed. I've never seen a website that focuses on this. This guy is speaking to me. I have this problem and I want to solve it. Let me find out more from this particular attorney. So one other aspect of this is, when your marketing material attracts a niche, and it's written for that niche. When somebody goes on Google in the search engines and they search for an issue related to that niche, your stuff's going to pop up first. How do you find your niche? All right. Well, if I was starting from scratch, and I would say, I would ask myself the question, when I talk to people about estate planning, what are the common problems that they tell me they want to solve? I hope all of you in your first conversation, your very first, at the very beginning of your first conversation with prospective clients, is something like, tell me a little bit about what you want to make sure we talk about in this conversation. That ought to be your very first thing you say. And then you need to listen very, very carefully. Too many attorneys show up and throw up. So what they say may appear silly or stupid to the estate planning attorney, but it's not silly or stupid. If it's important to them, you need to address it so that they're satisfied. So I know in my practice, when I ask that question, two of the common things that I hear are, we want to avoid probate, and I also hear quite a bit, we want to avoid losing things to the nursing home. So those are two common problems, and I would probably work on one of those angles for my first, niche marketing free offer. Also, what is that group of clients that spends more money with you? Which issues are most likely to get resolved in a way where people give you money? What group is easier to sell to? Who do you enjoy working with the most? Worked with some attorneys who had their own special needs children, and they really enjoyed working with other families that had special needs children. So that's a factor in developing what your niche is. Some factors to consider: what's the size of the market? Are you a small fish in a big pond? Are you a big fish in a small pond? Your niche you need to think about, is that particular niche market growing? In many communities, the planning to avoid estate tax market is not really growing. Our exemptions keep going up. Fewer and fewer people are subject to the estate tax. Maybe that's not your first niche marketing free offer. Also, how passionate are your prospective clients about solving that problem? How passionate are you about helping clients solve that problem? And then another issue, a factor to consider, is the fee sensitivity. We see a lot of young parents that have special needs children, but you know what? They're spending every last dollar on those special needs children. God bless them. Those children need it, and the parents are doing everything they can. But it often leaves those parents with very little other available resources to be able to, invest in or pay for the legal services that they need. So fee sensitivity is another issue. So what I want to do really for the rest of the time here is, I've developed a list of maybe 20 or 25 sample estate planning niches, give you my thoughts on each of those niches, and then really encourage you to even come up with more niche topic ideas. We could probably come up with 50 or 100, but let me go through some of the basics. The first one that I wrote down was this Medicaid eligibility. In many communities, many people, the public, kind of the middle class, is worried about, I don't want to lose everything to the nursing home. So, for example, here is one niche free offer that I made for people who were worried about losing things to the nursing home. So it's on my website. Here's a little title that tries to grab them to get them to request my free offer. So they see the title, they can watch this little 2-minute and 43-second video, which I call my life. There's nothing worse than watching an individual or couple who has spent decades building up goofball. And so what that video does is it encourages them even more to sign up to get my 23-minute Louisiana Medicaid Planning Legal Strategies video. And so to get that video, this all explains what they have to, they have to fill out. the web form, and then we send it to them, and now we capture their contact information so that for days or weeks or months or years or decades ahead, we can constantly send them valuable marketing messages about that particular issue that was important to them. So Medicaid eligibility is a great sample niche, and even within Medicaid planning, there's little sub-niches. There's the pre-planning, which is, the planning 5 years ahead in advance. That's really a great kind of great ideal client to have, is the one they're not stressed, it's not an emergency, they just want to make sure they protect what they have. Then there's the whole crisis planning. Some people really like that stuff. That could be a niche topic. And then you could even go with Medicaid eligibility, the married planning and the single person planning. You could concentrate on both of that. So within Medicaid eligibility, there's several different niches there. Other niches, I mentioned a couple of times the estate and gift tax niche. So it doesn't affect a lot of people, but when it does, it's a major problem. And so retained a client earlier this week, and business owner, $15 million estate, larger fees, and so I had put some stuff out there, on the internet about how business owners can plan to avoid gift and estate tax and keep their business and their family, and so that led them to my office. But there's other kinds of taxes you can talk about. You can have a niche campaign for the capital gains tax and the step up in basis or the double step up in basis, and how it affects them passing along their investments and their homes and their real estate to their family. You could have a niche just on that. Another popular niche topic is the whole avoiding probate. So you could have a niche free offer on the kind of trust-based program that helps people avoid probate, or you can go down the how to fund your trust to make sure that probate gets avoided. And again, I'm talking, when I'm talking about these subjects, I'm talking lawyer to lawyer here. When you develop your free offer, and our suggestion is to just barf a bunch of information on a page, and then edit it yourself, and then get it to Carol James to really tweak it, make sure you have the right attention-grabbing title. So lots of areas there in the avoid probate market. The blended family issue, boy, that's a big one. Most consumers realize that blended families really better get their legal affairs in order. So I think that's a great topic. Estate planning for business owners. Business owners, their life, their passion is their business. They're worried about what's going to happen when they leave it to their spouse or their children. So that's a great niche topic. Another really popular one for people who are just kind of getting into estate planning is that parents with minor children. So, no greater emotional concern for a parent or for a mother or a father who has minor children than who's going to raise my children if something happens to me, and how am I going to make sure that what I leave my children gets used the right way for their education or whatever needs they may have. So another great niche, parents with minor children. I've written a report years ago, gotten a lot out of it. It's a special report that I wrote solely for surviving spouses, for people who had just lost their spouse. It went into all of the, estate settlement stuff, went into all of the things that a surviving spouse can expect, all the way through the proper planning for the surviving spouse to make sure it all goes to the children or the heirs the right way. So that's another niche. How to get a probate done is, people are scared of probate. They read a lot of nasty stuff about it, and if they have to go through it, they're going to go to somebody who has educated them about how to make that process as easy as they can make it. So again, written reports in the past on how to make it easy to go through probate. So trust administration, same thing. So you could have a niche topic on how to settle a trust, and again, you'll attract all kinds of people. Special needs children, another one, we talked about that before, how to make children's inheritance divorce proof. how to protect your assets from lawsuits. I had one of the couples that I retained today. They were considering putting some of mom's. He was an only child. Mom didn't have much money, and they were considering just taking mom's cash. That's all that she had, and putting it in the son's name. But he was really worried. He said, "Well, what if I go run over a child and I get sued and mom's put her money in my name? Would I lose that money?" And there was that potential. So he wanted to make sure that would never happen. So even though he was a very responsible child, only son, only child, he wanted a trust that would protect that money of his mother's in the event something happened and he had some type of creditor. And then there's all kinds of other issues. I told you about the 2 cats today. I don't know what the cats' names are, but we're in the process of running a trust so they get $10,000. So lots of people are worried about their pets. Lots of people, especially these days, worried about their guns. So the whole gun trust thing. I haven't done much in the way of gun trusts, but I know it can be a real good entree into kind of getting an overall, or as part of an overall comprehensive estate plan. People with land are worried about their farms. You could do a niche special report on estate planning for the home. Some people, they want the home to stay in the family. Some people have appreciated homes. They're worried about the capital gains tax, the estate tax, the Medicaid aspect of the home, the property tax exemptions, the homestead exemptions, the liability protection issues. You could do a niche report just on the home. People with large IRAs, another great one, dealing with your future incapacity, the whole living will, life support machines, and then you can also do reports for your referral sources. We created a report that we use so that we give to financial advisors that we meet or that we get introduced to, so that we're educating them about the benefits to their clients, to the financial advisors, on how having that relationship with us really benefits them over long term. Because in our report we point out that when the first spouse dies, 70% of the surviving spouses are going to take the money elsewhere. When the surviving spouse dies, 80% of the time, the children are going to take the money out elsewhere, unless they get involved in the estate planning ahead of time, work with us, get the parents, get the children engaged in the estate planning conversation. More likely that the money stays with the financial advisor. So lots of opportunities there. Okay, so those are just, and all this is being recorded, so it's all going to be shared with you, but those are just a few of the niche topics. If you have any others and want an opinion or want to throw it out there, feel free to do that. Put it in the question box and we'll address it. But what our next steps are, one is determine that niche, and then what we'll talk about next is all the different formats you can use for your different niches. Most people, it's some type of written offer the first time, but you're also going to want to use video. You can use audio. For example, for those of you who were at Wealth Council, here is a free offer that is simply an audio recording of a presentation that I made. And I stuck my phone on the table right next to where I was standing. I went to the voice memo app and I pressed record. And so you can have an audio recording that you make as your free offer. So you can do audio, you can do video, you can do written reports, you can do books, you can do ebooks. Books will come down the line. I use my book as a free offer, and it's not a real good niche because it's a very comprehensive book that covers really everything related to estate planning. So it doesn't grab anyone's attention from a particular niche standpoint, but the strength of that free offer is the fact that it's a physical book. And people say, wow, you wrote a book. I'd like to get that. So it's not so niche-y, but it's the right format. It's kind of the optimal format, which you'll all have, over time. In fact, you may go from that little 10-page free offer to the 30 or 40-page ebook to maybe the 80 to 100-page printed book that you'll benefit from for the rest of your career. Okay, so we've got that. We've got, next time we'll be talking about the format of your free offer. The next time we'll be talking about how to use the 6 elements of your free offer the right way, stating the biggest problem, the solution, other options, your solution, benefits they get from taking advantage of your solution, followed by the call to action. And then, I've already repeated this, but I'm just going to go through it again. We'll roll right into that, how to use written blogs, video as part of your marketing, drip marketing, book authoring, seminar presentations. So, and then lots more from there. Okay, so what I want to do now, I said we were going to go about 30 minutes, then about 34 minutes, and I'm just a stickler for time. So what I want to do is just, if you have some questions that you'd like to get addressed, feel free to type those in. And my reminders are, if you don't have your regularly stay on top of things call scheduled with Carol, do so. I don't even know that it has to be more than 15 minutes a week, but that accountability call is so critical to getting lots of small things done, one things at a time. So, so make sure you get that done. If any of you have any interest in coming here next Thursday to be here for Thursday evening and Friday, reach out to Carol. Be happy to have you. We can't have 10, but we can have 3 or 4. And we'll really focus on your practice, and you'll come out of there saying, wow, I'm excited about what I have ahead of me. I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what kind of support and accountability I'm going to get, and let's get going. So feel free to reach out to Carol. Numbers on the website everywhere, and we'll talk to you about that. And other than that, I think we're going to call it a week. One other bonus, real important. A couple of people have said, and this is really a tough one when you get started with us, but we've had some requests because some practices have really kind of lapsed. And as anybody will tell you, marketing takes time. And so we've had often I hear, Paul, I need clients now. What can I do to get some client activity right now? I'm in a bind. I need some clients. I realize all this marketing stuff is long term. And I realize it's going to take me a while to get a book done and get the drip campaigns going and have multiple free offers. But I need clients now. So there's a lot of things you can do to attempt to expedite getting clients. Some marketing things that you'll do are good for your long-term bank, but I want to go ahead and address how to deal with the short-term issues. Let me give you one example. You got to get bold and you got to get busy. So one area that you could start on 5 minutes after we finish, depending upon what time zone you're in, is you can start calling financial advisors in your community. But without this input from me, you'll probably have a terrible conversation that'll be useless. I told somebody a couple of weeks ago, you know what, I never go to lunch with financial advisors. I never go to coffee shops with them. And he said, you know what, Paul, I called every Edward Jones advisor in my area. I went to lunch with them and never did a thing for me. So the way our marketing works and what's easy, and you don't get rejection, and you get clients, is this is just one little piece, but you call up the financial advisors that either you know or you don't know, and just maybe say something like, well, hey Stan, I'm Fred, and I'm an estate planning attorney here in our town, and I've run across your name, and I wanted to just simply call and introduce myself, and wanted to know if it would be okay. I put together different content regarding how estate planning attorneys and financial advisors can work together for the mutual benefit of themselves and their clients. And I wanted to see if it would be okay if every once in a while I just pass along some of that information to you. Would that be okay? Nobody's ever going to say no when you ask it like that. Great. Let me get your contact information. Get their contact information. Oh, by the way, would it be okay if I just asked you a couple of questions? Sure. Tell me a little bit about how you've used estate planning attorneys in the past. Who knows what they'll say, but they'll tell you because you asked it politely and you have the right tone. Then you're going to want to ask questions like, what was good, or what did you like the most about the experiences that you had in the past with estate planning attorneys? And then they'll tell you. What did you like the least, or what were the biggest mistakes made by the estate planning attorneys that you worked with in the past? And you need to listen very carefully to those questions. And I'm doing fast forward here, but then could lead to questions like, you know what, I've worked with several people in your industry in the past, and I just want to ask you, you know, some people in your industry, in the investment or financial advisor community, they expect different things when they get introduced to an estate planning attorney. I want to run some of these things by you and see which of these things appeal to you the most. Some financial advisors expect to work with an attorney who's just going to give fantastic service to their clients. That's all they want, is they want to make sure their clients get served well. Other financial advisors want to have perhaps the cell phone number of an attorney in case their clients have a question that they need a quick answer to, and the answer to that question might help the financial advisor get the business. Other financial advisors are looking for more introductions and referrals from the estate planning attorney. We could talk about that. Other financial advisors want to work with an attorney who is interested in doing perhaps some joint marketing and perhaps doing some presentations together so that everybody can benefit from that and be in that kind of education-based marketing, area. Which of those things, if any, appeal to you? Who knows what they'll say? They might say, no, I've been looking for somebody who, when I have a client, I want to make sure that the client gets served and my client doesn't get stolen. Who knows what they'll say? But you need to ask questions like that, and the more questions you ask, the more you find out what they need, and then you can start delivering to them what they need. And that by itself, you have enough of those conversations, and you'll run into the financial advisor when you ask, has anybody in the last week, mentioned an estate planning concern to you? And maybe they'll say yes. And then maybe you'll say, you know what, don't even tell me their name, but what was the issue that they had? And then they may tell you. And then you may say, well, Jack, what do you think your client would say if you called them up and you said to your client, I was talking to an estate planning attorney, we were talking about your particular situation, and he suggested that we all get together to talk about that concern that you mentioned to me last week. How would you feel about getting together to talk about that? So now you're teaching the financial advisor how to have the right conversation with their clients to get them to all do business with you. If I were new and I were starting out, I would have 1,000 of those conversations in week 1. So there's my bonus. What to do if you need clients right now. All the ones who don't have the need or aren't interested in having that conversation in depth, put them in your database, give them to us. We'll drip on them on your behalf. They'll come around. 6 months from now, they'll run into a client who has a need. You'll have contacted them with valuable information 3 days before they'll get them to you. So anyway, wanted to address that even though it wasn't the topic of our conversation. I gave you the 10-minute version of what really needs to be about a 4-hour training on how to have the right kinds of conversations with people. But anyway, you'll have that. Okay, so let's see if we got anything else going on today before we wrap it up and I get ready. I don't like when people talk about their own local sports teams, but we got such a big game this weekend against Alabama. Go Tigers. Had to say it. All right. You can wrap up before you leave by in the question box writing go and then your favorite team. And so at least I'll know who that is. So, okay, we're going to wrap it up here. I'll hang around for a few questions that pop up. I'll be happy to read it and answer it. Y'all have a great weekend. Really look forward to working with you. Really look forward to sharing everything we've got to help you grow your business. Y'all have a great day. See ya.